In this lesson, we will review the topic of matter and changes. Matter is everything around us, anything that takes up space and has weight. This includes solids like rocks, liquids like water, and gases like the air we breathe. Now, matter can change in two main ways, physically and chemically. But how can we tell the difference between these two changes? Physical changes. A physical change is when matter changes its appearance but stays the same substance. It's like giving a haircut. You change the way your hair looks, but it's still hair. Examples of physical changes. Cutting paper. The paper changes size and shape, but it's still paper. Melting ice. Ice turns into water, but it's still water. Dissolving sugar in water. The sugar seems to disappear, but it's still there in the water. You can taste it. In all these examples, the key thing is that the substance itself doesn't change. You can reverse many physical changes. For example, if you freeze water again, it turns back into ice. Characteristics of physical changes. No new substance is formed. The change is often easy to reverse. The identity of the matter doesn't change, it's still the same thing. Chemical changes. A chemical change is when matter changes into a completely new substance. This change goes much deeper than just appearance. The actual particles that make up the substance change and form something new. This is like baking a cake. You mix ingredients, put it in the oven, and what comes out is no longer just flour, eggs, and sugar. It's a whole new thing, a cake. Examples of chemical changes. Burning wood. When wood burns, it turns into ash, smoke, and gases. You can't turn the ash back into wood. Rusting iron. When iron reacts with oxygen in the air, it forms rust, a different substance from iron. Baking a cake. Heat causes the ingredients to combine in a new way, creating something you can't separate back into flour or sugar. In chemical changes, the substances involved change into new substances with different properties. Characteristics of chemical changes. A new substance is formed. The change is usually not reversible. You can't unburn something. Energy, heat, light, sound is often released or absorbed. How to tell the difference between physical and chemical changes. There are a few clues that can help us figure out if a change is physical or chemical. Change in color. If something changes color, it might be a chemical change. For example, when a fruit rots, it changes color because of chemical reactions inside. Formation of gas. If bubbles or gas form when substances are mixed, this is usually a sign of a chemical change. Think of vinegar and baking soda. They react to form bubbles of carbon dioxide gas. Temperature change. If a change in temperature happens on its own without you adding or removing heat, it might be a chemical change. For example, when wood burns, it gets hotter because of the chemical reactions. Formation of a precipitate. Sometimes when two liquids mix, a solid forms. This solid is called a precipitate, and it's a clue that a chemical change has occurred. Common misunderstandings. It's easy to get confused between physical and chemical changes. For example, when water boils, it turns into steam, but this is still a physical change because it's still water, just in a different form. On the other hand, burning a piece of paper is a chemical change because the paper turns into ash and gases, and you can't change it back into paper. Summary. Physical changes affect the appearance or form of a substance, but the substance itself stays the same. These changes are often reversible. Chemical changes create a new substance with different properties. These changes are usually not reversible, and energy may be released or absorbed.